So guys, good morning guys. So it's Sunday and I would like to welcome you to my live streaming for Swedish Christmas food. If you are needing of any information about how the Swedish celebrate, I'm going to talk about how they do that over as we go along, all right? So let's do this. This is the rib that I prepared earlier on and you guys have watched them. I have actually literally just soaked this two different types of ribs. One is with the Swedish wine, the glögg, remember? And then I just put some ginger and some Swedish wine, and then I just let it marinate for about, I think, 2 days. But you don't need to have to marinate for 2 days. You can do it 1 day. And over here I have this other type, which is an Asian versions, which I'm going to be making orange flavors, which is the orange glaze ribs, and this will be the wine glaze ribs. So starting from here, what I did was I just removed the marinade from the wine and from the seasoning, so they go down, and then I just pan fry them, and they are almost cooked. Not really yet, because you need to further cook this, but I need to make a glaze before I put them in the oven. So I'm going to show you how to do the glaze. So very quickly after this, I'm going to show you the salmon that I prepared earlier on, which is over there, and you're going to stay tuned until the end. I'm going to show you the red beet salmon, which we're going to eat for lunch. Okay, so let's get started with the first thing, which I'm going to be making is the wine, the Swedish way of making this. I don't say that it's a Swedish way. I think everybody do it differently, but I like to do it this way because I like this sticky marinade that is is in the ribs, because ribs is like a stubborn piece of meat, right? It's very difficult for you to marinate in. So what I have here is I have some leftover marinade which I use for the wine, and then I kept them, and over here I'm going to just add a little bit more of a wine, which is a red wine. Let me just see what is floating on top. All right, so I'm going to be using just a bit more wine. This is the red wine. So if you don't have wine, it's fine too. And then you want to add some dark soy sauce. So I'll be adding about a teaspoon just to get the color. So if you think the color is not strong enough, just add a little bit more. All right, maybe not over a tablespoon, just like this will do. So you want this to be like a glaze, not too dark like black, no. So, and then you want to add some sweetness. I'm gonna add, you can add honey, but I don't have honey at home, so I'm adding syrup. So about 2 tablespoons of syrup, and then mix them well. And then I'm going to add some corn flour. So corn flour, you need not has to be a lot, just about a teaspoon or so will do. So just about a teaspoon. Okay, now this wine and the ginger marinade is ready. So this is going to be set aside. So I'm going to use that later on. Let's do the next seasoning, which is the orange seasoning for the Asian chicken. So over here I have a bowl, and I'm going to put some orange juice, because I don't have so much of the ribs, so I think I'll take about a 3/4 of a cup of orange juice. And over here I have some zest of orange, so 1 whole zest of orange. And saying, if you have lemon, if you have honey, put honey. If you don't have honey, you can always add syrup. So about 1.5, because it's not so much rib, so I'm not gonna just use so much. So just about 1.5 tablespoon of ribs syrup or honey. And then over here I have some rice wine vinegar. So just some, about a tablespoon. And then now you want to put, instead of dark soy sauce, just light soy sauce, because you don't want this to be like a black in color, right? Just some, about a teaspoon of soy sauce. And then you want to add some sesame oil, about just a half a teaspoon should do. And then you want to add just a pinch of salt. Let me just get a pinch of salt. Getting Himalayan salt. So just a bit of salt and give this a taste. Very good. I think I need a little bit more. All right, and don't forget this one too. I forgot to tell you. You have to add a little bit salt too. Just about a teaspoon. Okay, so this sauce is done, and this sauce is done. And don't forget, you have to add also to just thicken the sauce a bit. About 2 teaspoons over here of corn flour for the orange one. There's a clumps, we call that, on the so this is ready to be used. If you think that you want a thicker sauce, you can always add a little bit more. Maybe I'll do that, just a half a teaspoon more. All right, just for thicker glaze. So now this is all ready. You prepared everything in advance, so no stress. Christmas is supposed to be no stress. Just make sure you prepare everything in advance, then it should be okay. Yeah. So usually I like to, take a few days to think, sometimes for me to think about a recipe, because this is a recipe that I came out on my own. And I just taste, every year when I went to the Swedish U-boot, and then I taste, how come the Swedish way of cooking the rib is totally different. I've seen my colleague cook the ribs, and I've seen my mother-in-law cook the ribs. It's totally different, and I find that in a way it's just salty. It's not so much of a flavor. So that's why I'm doing this recipe, hoping that to see if this flavor really sets in. So now go to the pan, and we're going to cook this sauce. It's not the end yet, so let's cook the sauce. I'm going to put the orange one here so I don't get mixed up. So you guys can have a cool look. Okay, I'm going to start off using the one that is the wine first. All right, so the wine is very nice with the ginger, so I'm going to start off with that first. So on a pan, some oil. So sometimes it's just a simple food, but then if you put in a little bit of thought and some do some research, because I always like to look at other those professional chef research, and I want to know how they do it. So I always am into YouTube and just checking out on chefs that does all this kind of crazy stuff that requires a little bit of time, but then it's Christmas, right? So and it's not so difficult, as you guys can see. I explain and I've shown them on my stories, so it's not that thicker. So now the ginger go in first. And it's always fun to do like, instead of just one flavor, because you might hate it. So at least you have another one to back you up. So if you don't like the Swedish wine one, you know, there's always the other one that, you know, you might like. Of course, the one that is safer, I would say, is the Asian one, because that one is very classic recipe and a lot of people know that. But the way of preparing this is slightly different. It takes a little bit long time, but you know, the steps are so easy. So now this is the ginger from oil, so I'm going to put the sauce in. I'm going to reduce this a bit because I don't want to be, you know, disfigured. So let me just add this in. So you want to cook this up. So I'm going to just increase this slightly more, just to give this like a thicken faster. So you want to prepare the oven first, because you're going to again cook this in the oven for at least 20 minutes. Depending on the thickness of the glaze, depending on the thickness of the ribs, I mean. Okay, now as you can see, this is like almost done, right? So I'm just going to reduce the heat a little bit and just let this come to a simmer before I put in my ribs. See this shining color. It's so beautiful, isn't it? So now I'm going to put in the ribs that I've cooked earlier on. And then I'm just going to put this around all the sauce, and then you can already off the heat. So I'm going to off the heat now and just make sure that, let me just get a comb instead. Making sure that every part of the pork is like sealed with this amazing sauce. Okay, now I'm gonna transfer this over to oven-proof plate so that I could continue to grill this in the oven. It smells so good. I'm really hungry already. You know, it's about 2 o'clock soon in Sweden and it's so dark now. So we are going out later on to somewhere kind of far away. That's why I'm doing this live streaming earlier, because I don't want to rush back and, you know, just to catch up, because it will be too late and I will be too tired to go on live. So I thought I'd do that before I go. So now the glaze, we just pour them on top. All right. So this is glaze number 1. So I'm going to put this in the oven first, because this is done first. Okay, let's do the glaze number 2. I'm going to just quickly wash this. Okay, glaze number 2. Let's see if I can. Let's do the number 2. So now I'm just not going to wait until this one really burn off. You know, you just need to pour this over slowly and wait for this to be thickened. See, it thickened quite fast. Quickly, now you want to just make sure that they are cooked through. And then I'm going to put in the chicken, and not the chicken, the ribs. Let me get another bowl. Okay. Chicken one, the orange color looks so beautiful. It's so shiny. It's so tempting looking. And the reason why I'm doing this early, because I don't want to be stressed out on Christmas Day, because there's already a lot of things to be done on Christmas Day. So this is perfectly okay if you prepare this in advance. So I'm going to turn off the heat now and just let this, you know, seal all the ribs on all the sides. Let this, you know, because remember we have some flour that is being coated on these ribs, so you want this, you know, to be absorbed like a sponge, the sauce to be absorbed by the ribs. So this is how you can do it, you know, to get all this goodness from the juice, orange juice. Just look at this. It's so beautiful. Okay. And look. Give a thumbs up or not? Okay, so now what you do is just to put down, thank you, hello. And then you just need to transfer them over to the plate. I'm going to just see if I can do this without any accident. Ooh, see, there's so much of the glaze left. So I'm not going to waste it. And I'm just going to just pour them over the ribs. And now you're going to put them in the oven, a preheated oven, for at least 20 to 20 minutes. And you want this to be, you know, grilled in this oven-proof foam. We call it foam plate. So let's go to the oven, and now see, I'm going to put that in. Can you see? Okay, now let's put this in, alright? Smells so nice. So guys, let's go and do the salmon. I'm going to just remove this, and then I'll show you the salmon that I prepared earlier on. Oh, so many things in front. So this is the salmon, the Swedish laks that I prepared earlier on. And this, I'll show you how it looks like. I took out just one piece and I left the other piece. So it's actually in a bag, a vacuum pack, and you can see, oops, and you can see that there are a lot of, we call that the red beet. Sugar, salt, same amount of sugar, same amount of salt. No mineral salt. You can use sea salt or you can use Himalayan salt. And some pepper, some red beet that has been ground or moosed, and then you just have some dill if you have some, and then you just make them like a sandwich. So I took out one piece, and this is still with the skin on. So this is really beautiful if you just cut them and then just display them nicely on a plate, and you can have them on we call it the Christmas table. So remove off everything, and then you just use a cloth to just clean them and let them keep in the fridge until you want to use them, then you cut them. So since we are going out for visiting, so I've just, remove them with my knife. We're going to eat this for lunch. So I'm going to cut just a few pieces so you can see. This plate is not so nice. Let me see if I can get a nicer plate so that you can see better how beautiful the vibrant color of this salmon. So get a fillet knife, make sure it's sharp. So the technique to cut this is really up to individuals. Some people, they are used to knife, they can cut this without any problem. For me, I'm not a knife person, and I'm actually a phobia with knife. So usually I try to take it easy, and then I just, slice them. When you slice them, this is not very sharp, but as you can see, I try to make them as thin like paper as possible. So this is my trying. So you can cut slightly thicker. So I'm just gonna cut a few pieces so you can see how to cut them. So some people, they like to put a ham, but it's kind of dangerous. And this is one slice. See how beautiful is that? Let me put them onto a plate so you can see the color. Right? I can see the color. Let me see Facebook. Okay. So one more try. And I always like to tilt them like 45 degrees when I cut them, so you can go slightly, like all your cuts is like more even. So this is another piece. See, it's a little bit pinkish. Not a little bit, it's very pinkish on the side, right? So this is how it's supposed to look like. So what you do is you just make them like a flower, arrange them like a flower. It's so beautiful, and I think your guests will be impressed. And how does this taste like? Let me give you guys a taste test, all right? I tell you, this is like so simple, and the flavors of the red beet is not very obvious, but I can taste the flavors of the dill because I like dill, and I put quite a bit of dill in it. So just continue to just cut them. Have some confidence because some people, they are really phobia. Oh no, I can't cut this. Don't worry. Just take your time. On the music, soft music. Get a glass of wine. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. So some people, they like to just avoid the end, which I'm going to show you the end of the. Let me just put this on the plate so you have an idea what I mean. So you arrange it like this. on a plate. So usually we eat this as a starter. So usually have bread and some butter. Maybe you can put a piece of bread and then some hard bread. And that's it. And that's it. That's how you eat in Sweden. So what I meant is that at the end, when you cut this fish until the bottom, you will tend to see this gray grain from the fish, right? And you want to avoid that because that one is not so pleasant, so not so beautiful to look at. So usually I just remove them and give it to the cat. And the cat, they love it. So Swante, he is like quite interested the other day. Well, I show you what I mean here. Okay, here, as you can see here, this is really thin. Look here, this gray stuff. We usually don't want to include that in the yurubu. So we try not to cut right through, like until the end. So we stop here and then we just keep slicing until we, you know, come to the end here. It's a kind of difficult when it comes to the end here, but you know, again, it's possible because, and then at the end here, it's always somebody who wants to eat that, right? So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I would like to do another live streaming, but this time I'm gonna try and make what you call that, the cheesecake. It's a saffron cheesecake. I probably will do it on Monday because that is tomorrow, because that cake has to be set like one day. So we'll be celebrating Christmas on the Christmas Eve. As you guys know, Sweden, we celebrate on the Eve. So that cake is perfect if you do it like just one day. So again, no stress on Christmas Day. Just take it easy and enjoy your holiday and your family. All right, guys. I hope you enjoy. If you like this video, I would appreciate some thumbs up, and do share my video to anyone that you might think that might be interested in my cooking channel. And I hope I see you on my next. All right. See you guys. Bye-bye.